Hello everyone. So thanks for watching my previous video. So this is going to be the continuation of the third shloka, which is Matraasparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukadukadaha agama paino anityastam titikshasva bharata. So it is only the contact between the sense objects and the senses that create the feeling of pain and pleasure and the feeling of hot and cold. They are of temporary nature, so bear them. Tam titikshasva. He says basically. So, what is unbearable for Arjuna is the feeling of grief. And the reason for the grief is that somebody is going to die. And that somebody is somebody whom Arjuna loves. That is the feeling of Arjuna. Lord Krishna was able to see very clearly through Arjuna's words. It is not the actual reason. It is one of the layers of the depths of the grief of Arjuna. The underlying reason is Arjuna thinks he kills somebody. He is going to kill somebody. But Lord Krishna says, even though somebody is going to get killed, but what actually pricks is the sense object, which is the mind of Arjuna, which has its accumulated impressions of the child who plays with his great grandfather and his enthusiastic learning time with his beloved preceptor or the teacher. So these are some of the example impressions that created that kind of a mind stuff in Arjuna. So that mind itself is considered as a sense object here. So we all know about the 5 sense objects, but in the Bhagavad Gita, there is this mind is also considered as the sense object, because it also sees when the eyes don't see. It also sees when we have the capability to imagine. Even I can keep my eyes closed, I can imagine somebody, or I can keep my eyes closed, or my ears closed. I can still hear or recollect using my memory. So I can do that in my mind. So mind is also a sense object. So in that context, okay. So when mind comes in contact with its sense object, mind is the sense, and mind comes in contact with its sense object, which is what? The memory, the object in its memory. The mind has the capability to bring from deep within itself. It's like a huge library of accumulated books, one above the other, of all our experiences throughout, since the time we've started thinking. So mind is that huge library. All these are the words of many people. In fact, especially when I'm going to be making a separate video on Raja Yoga, in the eyes of the words of Swami Vivekananda, the way he sees it. I will be able to better explain to you why mind is considered as a sense object. But let's come to this. Matraasparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukadukadaha agama paino nityastam titikshasva bharata. I've already told you, nainam chintanti shastrani. No, none of the 4 elements can cause any harm to the Atma. Then why are you grieving? So nobody can kill the Atma. So when nobody can kill the Atma, why are you worried? So it's Arjuna, please note that it is Matraasparshastu, sense object touching the sense, or sense touching the sense object, that causes the feeling of pain and pleasure, and it also the one that causes the feeling of hot and cold. So these are temporary, bear them. So once you bear them, you are out of that pinch point, the pricking point. So that is exactly what Lord Krishna wants to communicate to Arjuna. What you think is going to cause a great grief is not actually causing the grief. It is your sense object. Your sense is touching the sense object. That is what is causing the prick. This is exactly what Lord Krishna wants to say, or at least in my understanding. All right. So the next is what? The next, so hope you all get it. So it is so once, if you want to take it for yourself, or the way I look at it, the way I feel it is, even though I know it's easier said, but when you are in that situation where you are actually feeling the hot or cold, or when you're actually feeling the pleasure or pain, it's not as easy as I'm saying it now. But when we are not actually in that situation, that is when we actually can prepare for that situation. And this shloka helps to prepare. And how is that? So, only to an extent. But practice can make us completely, a pleasure proof, or a pain proof, or a hot proof, or a, cold proof. So that's going to happen a while. See, it's going to take a lot of time. In one of the latest shlokas, he also says the way out of this. So how can one person become pleasure proof or pain proof? That is going to come in the latest shlokas, but that is going to be a different video. But I'm just going to take the help of that shloka, just to explain how what is the significance of Matraasparshastu, something touching something. Sense objects, sparsha. The word sparsha in Sanskrit means touching. So, Matraasparshastu kaunteya, shitoshna sukadukadaha, agama payino anityastam titikshasva bharata. So, you ensure that when the senses are touching the sense objects, be just aware that it's going to be temporary, whatever the effect of this touching happens, this sparsha, this connection between sense object and senses. Examples: mind. With the mind you can create anything. Okay, so inside the mind you can create anything, whether pleasure or pain, hot or cold, anything you can create. Just like that. That's the greatness of the mind. So mind is the instrument, and mind is the object. Okay. So I keep repeating this all the time because mind is with the help of which I am talking to you and you are listening to me. And mind is the same thing that is also perceiving and making me aware, hey, you know what? I'm talking and somebody is listening. Yeah. So that is why he says Matraasparshastu. So here he targets that sense which is what actually the mind. Now, the next thing is what? The next thing is I'm going to tell you about the Raja Yoga. Even in Raja Yoga, in one of the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, there is one way of looking at the mind. The mind is the how to control. So what is the way out? See, the first sutra of Patanjali is Ata Yoga Anushasanam Yogash Chitta Vritti Nirodha Tada Drashtuh Swarupe Avasthanam. So the second sutra here is Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. But how am I supposed to do this? Okay, and there are multiple sutras that follow these. I will talk separately when we talk about Raja Yoga and that. But now for this shloka Matraasparshastu, what are we supposed to do? Why are we supposed to be aware that it is the connection between the sense and the sense object that cause the pleasure and pain, and that causes the feeling of hot and cold? Because once we are aware, we know that it's going to touch. So let me prepare my mind. Hey, you know what? I'm going to get affected because of this effect. That affection could be pleasure or could be pain. Most of us at least believe that we know how to deal with pleasure. And most of us are, or at least, not just don't know, but we are afraid that, we don't know how to deal with pain. Okay. Because pleasure is something that we are okay with, but pain is not something that we are okay with. But both pain and pleasure are the effects of this connection between, matra, sparsha. All right. So if that is the case, why am I supposed to be aware? Because once I'm aware, I know by practice, abhyasa, vairagyabhyam, tan nirodha. So I can stop my mind from you know, getting affected only by constant practice. I have to keep telling my mind, hey, you know what? Prepare. It's okay. It's okay. This is too much pain for you. You cannot bear it. See if you can. That's it. You think you cannot bear it. See if you can. See what you can. You can actually, easily empathize once you practice this with anybody who is in grief. It is the feeling of empathy that actually, makes you, expand your wisdom. Okay, so by saying this, you are actually, Arjuna, you are not even, you are not even aware of, what is actually causing you the grief. It is the sense object that is touching the senses, but you're thinking that it is you who's killing your granddad and your, acharya. So that is not the case. So what is actually giving you a grief? Work on that, Arjuna. If you want me to, clear your dharma samula cheta, then you have to listen to me that Matraasparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkadaha. Oh Kunti putra, Kunti Devi has seen so much grief, or at least have been in difficult situation, not in grief, because she was at a very tender age, I guess, very, very young age, adolescent age, after she was made to stay in the ashrama of sage Durvasa. He has a very, very bad, short temperament. The least little, deviation from his expectation, he's going to curse you. And Kunti Devi had got a boon after, staying with him for so long in his ashram. Which means what? She has to meet every expectation of, Durvasa Muni. And no wonder Arjuna uses the word Matraasparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkadaha. Matraasparshastu kaunteya. You're the son of Kunti, Kaunteya. So what does that mean? She has borne every other possible, difficult situation. She has faced that. And you are worried about killing your own kin just because, your sense objects are in contact with your senses. So that's it, guys, for the, because in the previous video I could not, complete the explanation that I wanted to give. So I have completed it in this video. So you all have a nice time. I'm going to come back and meet you all in the next video. So I miss, watching the camera. I have a tendency, I'm getting distracted by the time that shows. Okay, you take care, people, all of you.